All right, let's turn back to the major indexes. Was a down day for the markets, except for those small caps. And joining me now is Joseph Gissy. He's the founder and CEO at Strategy Marketplace. Joseph, thanks so much for coming on this afternoon. So we did end lower. We didn't end at our session lows. That's a positive. But as we start a week that's going to be filled with retail results, what is your takeaway from today's session?
Yeah, people are still concerned about inflation. You just mentioned that on your show just a couple minutes ago, and that is creeping up. I mean, we are seeing that at the gas pumps. We're seeing it in the grocery stores. We're seeing it with consumer goods and other supplies, raw materials. So people are concerned about inflation. But what we did notice in Q1 with a lot of the earnings reports is it was really good for the market. And we're seeing that with some of the stocks to watch today where, they are upticking, they are uptrending. And I think that as this new report comes out with new earnings, we're going to see a little consumer excitement there. We do know that there's some reopening. Inflation's on the mind, but we know that things have to be getting a little bit better in the economy, especially when it comes to those consumer staples or even the retail or the restaurant or even the travel industry. We know those are going to be booming because those are all upticking right now. So I think it's a good point to be made that we'll be doing well for this next quarter with the earnings reports.
Okay. So earnings, yeah, I think earnings, well exceeded analyst expectations in the first quarter. I think the question is, can the stock market continue to rise even as we see corporations get leaner and meaner during this pandemic and well exceeding, I think, these earnings expectations and even the profitability that they were able to report. There are concerns, obviously, that this market still has, Joseph, I know you've been following them. I'm sure you've been following them, most notably, obviously, inflation on the horizon. With those hotter than expected reports last week, airfare up 10%. I mean, these prices are really ticking up. Same is the case for hotels. Are you concerned, or how are you playing basically the reality that earnings are improving at the same time that Americans are worried about higher prices?
Yeah, that's a great question. Am I concerned? Well, yes, but the way we do things with our investors is that we do a more active tactical approach with our stock portfolios. So we do understand that inflation's creeping up and that it's coming, and that's a concern. We also understand kind of where we're at in the market cycle and where we're at from this pandemic. So for the short term, we're not as concerned because we do see some positivity and we do feel like this bull market has some legs to continue on for a little bit longer. How much longer? Will it go into Q3, Q4? That's to be seen. So optimistically, I would like it to keep going, and we know that it increases exponentially as the bull market nears its close before it turns to bear. But that's where an active investment strategy really comes into play. So you can tactfully get out of the way once that bear does start crashing, because we know momentum will start to play a factor later down the road.
Mm-hmm. So knowing that you are an active trader, right? You are actively managing these portfolios. Are you buying the dip on cryptocurrencies? Is that something with these recent pullbacks that you've wanted to wade into?
Yeah, actually our firm, we are really looking at crypto, and we're really putting some emphasis on some active trading within crypto. And I have to admit, yes, I did buy some of the dip today. And, I see that this Musk tweet that made crypto kind of jump down a little bit is temporary. And I'm expecting that. I'm expecting there to be some pushback from regulators, and I'm expecting there to be some massive pullback. Look, crypto is going to be much more volatile than the regular market. But when these announcements or something happens, I see that as a great opportunity to get back in. So there are some great opportunities in crypto. And I personally, I did jump back in on a little more Bitcoin today.
Bitcoin. Okay, interesting, because I'd like to get your take. I mean, there are so many different cryptocurrencies out there, some that start as a joke like Dogecoin, that see run-ups but then have fallen back since in Doge's case, and then other ones more recently too that have just kind of popped up in the past few weeks or so and gained steam. When it comes to cryptocurrency, is Bitcoin the safe bet for your firm, or are you considering some of these other newer cryptocurrencies? How do you play this market?
That's another great question. So we're diversified in our cryptocurrencies as well. We have probably about 15 different cryptocurrencies in our portfolio. And I am to say that I personally did buy into a little bit of Dogecoin as well, more so for just to see where it goes than put it into portfolios for other individuals at this point. But it's more along the lines of diversifying in the crypto space, with Bitcoin being the behemoth. If you put more of your weight into Bitcoin, that's probably the safer bet, considering that it's more widely accepted. And that's really what the name of this crypto game is going to be, is who's going to, accept that payment. Right now, Mark Cuban hasn't said he's not accepting it with the Mavericks, although I think Tesla right now is temporary with Bitcoin. They may come back, if things change a little bit. I don't know that his tweet saying he's done with Bitcoin is stamped in gold. If not, maybe it's Dogecoin, but he'll find another crypto. Elon is very crypto positive, and a lot of other people are as well. So I think crypto is not going to go anywhere, but diversify that portfolio. Like I said, we have close to 15 different cryptos in our portfolio right now.
Interesting. So diversification, I think, not just a lesson for the stock market, but obviously with the cryptocurrency market is what you're advocating, as well as we see more and more of these cryptocurrencies pop up and gain some real momentum. I'd be interested to get your take in terms of the retail earnings, Joseph, that we're anticipating this week. Macy's going to kick it off tomorrow morning. That stock, one of the best performers in the S&P 500 today. Of course, this does cover the first 3 months of this year, a very different scenario than the current situation is. This economy is reopening, and masks in many cases are not required if you're vaccinated. What are you anticipating, and how are you going to play these retail results?
Yeah, so it factors in, what our technical analysis and our active management style says to buy in. So if the momentum is there and it hits some of our thresholds, then we're going to buy into some of these retail brands. We've had actually L Brands in our portfolio for the majority of the year, because L Brands was doing very well for the majority of last year as well. And it just depends on where that momentum is driving us. But as far as this retail sector goes, I do expect to see it in a positive favor moving in through this quarter, because there's a lot of stimulus money out there, because people are sitting on this and they're going to want to get out. They're going to want to go shopping. They're going to want to go to the restaurants. So I do see a very favorable outlook for the next quarter, especially with this retail sector.
All right. Joseph Gissy, we got to leave it there. Joseph is founder and CEO at Strategy Marketplace. Thank you for joining us this afternoon from Chicago.